What if you could help others to find the power to heal themselves, physically, emotionally, and spiritually?
When I started teaching my classes, it was in 2002, and I was just doing past life regressions and contacting the subconscious part. But then as the time went on and we found how powerful this was and what we could do with it, a lot of the students began saying, you know, advanced past life regression doesn't really tell what it's all about. This is so much more than that. We think you should change the name. So it was a few years ago, we decided to change the name to Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique.
Help other people to speak to their higher selves. You can. Dolores Cannon has taught thousands of people from across the world how to use QHHT. Now you can learn her method by going directly to themoreshow.com/QHHT. And don't forget to mention the discount coupon MORETALKS.
Since the beginning of time, man has created great civilizations which have come and gone. But one thing has stood the test of time for millennia: the martial arts.
In the Shaolin temples of China, there are depictions of yoga postures, paintings, diagrams.
A lot of people have sort of a misconception about martial arts. A lot of people think martial arts, okay, it's all about fighting. But martial arts offers a lot more than that.
My perception of martial arts is split into what I perceive to be two halves, yin and yang.
Chi for Chinese, Ki for Japanese, or Prana for Indians.
I went blind and had to start my life again, and met a kung fu master who said his system was so effective that even a blind man could do it. The more we discover about ourselves and our own conscious understanding of our place in everything, the more we discover about everything around us.
My understanding of the spiritual inspiration of martial arts comes from the necessity for us to find purpose and reason beyond being driven by the survival instinct.
Martial arts has disciplined me. I don't drink, I don't smoke. Martial arts has taught me about other cultures.
In China, between master and the students, our relationship is really, really close and very special. For Western people, it's very hard to understand.
Well, is there a martial artist amongst us who doesn't have Bruce Lee as a hero? There's a lot of times you need to suddenly pull down, focus intensely so that you can do a really good job. And it's the martial arts concentration that's really helped me do that.
There are quite a lot of similarities between martial arts and belly dance, like snake energy, animal movements.
I do believe in yin and yang, and dark and light, and the flow, and nature, the natural way. I find that true martial artists are in tune with that.
So I began to see how these fundamentals underlie all movement.
Get your mind right, and your martial art will be right.
Everything is interconnected. Everything is linked.
Within the movement, you're trying to feel and replicate the spiral that is in all life, the spiral of the galaxy, the pulsing of each atom, and you're trying to feel that within your movement.
It's a difficult world out there, full of falsities and lies. Martial arts helps me, A, live with that, and B, try and do something to combat it.
We're all part of the same soul. Everything we do has an effect on each other. We're all connected.
Enlightenment. That is the ultimate goal.
Enlightenment is not coming from the outside of you, it's truly coming inside of you.
Gulrukh Khan is the director and producer of the martial arts film Spirit2POWER. Now, Spirit2POWER is a feature-length docu-film presenting a journey into the spirits of martial arts. I'm also joined by one of the martial artists, Julie Kitchen. Julie is the world champion women's Muay Thai kickboxer and holds 13 titles. Gulrukh and Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, we've just seen the trailer there. So to begin with, just tell us a bit about the trailer.
Well, the trailer really is a little bit longer than other trailers out there, which normally have a lot of quick action. I think because the film is more about the meaning of martial arts, it is slightly longer in length. And it's really designed to make people feel what I'm saying, as opposed to just kind of being visually enticed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously watching that trailer, it looks like martial arts is very spiritual. And would you say that's right, Julie?
Yeah, for sure. It's not all about just attacking, as a lot of people see on the outside. So, yeah, it comes with a whole aura.
I mean, so just tell me, who inspired you for this film?
Zara Fithian actually was a big inspiration, because I saw her in Turkey when we were there on a holiday, actually practicing martial arts. She was there to do a tournament. And when I saw her against the sea practicing these martial arts, it just looked incredible. Of course, you've got all the colours of the ocean, the sunset, and all the moves.
Yeah, it seems to be very much about the arm movements as well. I mean, Julie, how's that work with all these movements in the arms, and what's it about?
For me personally, I do Thai boxing, so it consists of punches, kicks, knees and elbows. You've got the 8 weapons to work with. But it's just an amazing sport, even to watch somebody shadow. It's just like a real nice flow of movements, using the whole body, working the arms, the legs, and, it's a great mixture altogether.
Okay. And in being balanced, that's very important for martial arts, isn't it? And that's something you're trying to show in the films, isn't it? How it's improved their lives. Because there's one chap on there, I can't remember the name, who's got the disability.
Yeah.
And, his story is inspiring, isn't it, in a sense?
Yeah. There's martial arts is all about sort of balancing the yin and yang, which is the male and female in yourself, and being able to really develop your power. And somebody like Matt Fraser, who is a challenged actor who suffers from thalidomide, he actually said that martial arts saved his life, which is an amazing thing. When you see him have no arms and practice martial arts, it definitely is a big sort of...
It's incredible. It's so inspiring, isn't it, that you can achieve anything. His story is one of many, I suppose, that have taken up the challenge of martial arts and gone on to do amazing things. Because would you say, Julie, that it helps you to sort of become a better person? I've heard the stories where people have stopped smoking, they've got off drugs, they've become a better husband as such.
Yeah, there's lots of stories, and most fighters have got a story behind that they've taken the wrong path in life. But for me personally, I had an amazing upbringing. I've been happy in my life. I haven't had any wrong roads going down. But for me, it's just a real passion and love for the sport. And I didn't actually take it up until I had children.
So what age was that then?
It wasn't until I was 23. I was still holding a little bit of baby weight, so I needed to go along and try and burn off some calories. And just the love for the sport, you kind of get addicted to it. And then I went to a show and I was like, oh, wow, I could do that.
Right. And you're now working out, was it 3 times a day?
Yeah, I own my own gym, Touch Gloves Gym, with my husband. So it's a full-time job. And being a professional fighter, yes, I'm fighting 3 times a day. And as you're saying about the balance, it consists of the healthy eating, the whole way of you live your life.
What's been one of your favourite sort of tournaments that you've done?
Jamaica really sticks out in my mind. We was raising money for the schools out there for the young children. They don't have computers, they haven't got much money out there. So when I was out there, we was actually allowed to go and visit the schools. I was just one of the fighters along with another fighter who went to meet the children and look at their schools, and knowing that we was raising money for such a good event, it's just another avenue for the sport to go down.
Absolutely. And Gulrukh, what got you interested in martial arts then, to have to have done this documentary and put your time into it?
Well, I think it's just very theatrical. It's got so many different forms, from Tai Chi right through to karate and Muay Thai kickboxing. It's very, very wide-ranging. So that inspired me. Plus, I'm a big fan of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, is that one of your favourite films, is it?
I think it's got to be, definitely. And also, I really feel like people need to take up disciplines in their lives to stay focused, because I think these days everybody's sort of talking about the world needs to change and all that kind of stuff. But I think unless you change yourself first, you can't really do much.
Yeah, that change has got to come from within, hasn't it?
Exactly.
we always want that change, but we never know how to quite get there sometimes. And people find it through all sorts of different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Martial arts, of course.
Yeah.
And, I suppose having that balance and everything else, it's important, isn't it, in life? I mean, what do you do to keep centered then?
Well, actually, I have Tai Chi and I do yoga. But everything really at the end of the day is pretty much the same. If you are able to have a discipline, martial arts is definitely quite powerful because it's got so many other elements, so all the spiritual side and the determination, the focus, and I think it's...
that spiritual side that you just mentioned there, I mean, that's always been there, hasn't it, with the martial arts? I mean, that's present in all the films, isn't it? And all the sort of teachings of it. Where does that come from?
I think every martial art's got a different background. For instance, Thai boxing, I visit Thailand quite a lot, and you really get sucked in by all their culture. And like you say, it goes back years and years, and Thai boxing was used on the war fields when they, came to war. Instead of using weapons, they'd do Thai boxing. So you go out there and they've got a huge respect for it. And you can just see their lifestyle and their culture behind it, and you kind of, when you're out there, you suck it all in, and then you come back and you respect the sport even more.
Yeah, because it's made you a much more confident person, hasn't it?
Oh, for sure, yes.
Yeah. Do you think that was one of your setbacks, in a sense?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it was a weakness. I was so shy. As soon as I spoke to someone, I'd go red. So obviously, I didn't like to speak to people then, and then you hold back. So for me, it's
and now you speak your mind, basically, wouldn't you?
Yeah. For instance, I fought as well in front of 200,000 people on the King's birthday in Thailand, and it's just
that
immense.
must be amazing to be out. You see it on TV, don't you? But when you're in front of the camera, when you're out there doing it, the roar from the audience and everything else must be incredible.
Oh, yeah, that's just an amazing number of people. I'd never believe that I'd stand up in front of that many people.
Now, I've got to mention, you're a holistic practitioner, is that right?
As well, yes.
As well?
Yeah.
And so where does this fit in? Does that fit into the documentary at all? Have you brought that in as an element?
Well, I think being a holistic practitioner, I'm interested in the whole picture. And I think with martial arts, it's kind of one of those things where it's not just, it's not just about fighting. It's about all the other components of martial arts, the meditation, the mind power, the practice, all of these things that build you up in your day. And I think that's the sort of foundation of any holistic medicine anyway. It's looking at all the layers and kind of getting to the point of it.
Yeah, because there was your grandfather. Was he into holistic medicine, or there was some sort of famous twist with him as well, wasn't there?
Well, my grandfather was a very famous Unani medicine practitioner. And he treated the Nizam of Hyderabad, who at one time was the world's richest man and the president of India at that time. And Unani medicine is really a medicine that's based on sort of administering pearls and minerals and gold and silver and all these kind of special compounds, but like homeopathy. And funny enough, it comes from the ancient Greeks. And martial arts, of course, stems from India, from thousands of years ago, and obviously it traveled to Japan, China, Europe, but using the same sort of holistic principles,
So would you say, Julie, for what, the Thai boxing that you do, it's really about pushing women in the sport, isn't it, as such? Because they're underrated, aren't they, in this sport?
Yeah, for sure. For me personally as well, my journey throughout, it's been a real upwards battle, really, especially being a female in a combat sport. So I get lots of messages every day off other females saying you really inspire me. It's good to see a female at the top of her game as well. And so, isn't
that great? Do you know what I mean? To be doing that. I mean, what would you say though as being one of your biggest setbacks in the sport so far, and how did you overcome that? Would you say?
Probably one of them where I live. I live in Cornwall, so I'm so far away from all the big cities in England, and even to get to an airport for me to travel to another country, it's like 4 or 5 hours drive. So that's been quite a big setback, being at the bottom of the country. And then you've got the battle of being a female as well, and promoters wanting to put a female
absolutely.
on a combat sport. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's so unfair, isn't it? I mean, just because a woman wears a skirt and a man wears trousers, it makes two different wages.
Yeah.
I mean, how can that be justified in sport nowadays?
I really don't know, but it is, and all we can do is look to the future, and hopefully it will even out, really.
Yeah, and that's what you're trying to push as well.
For sure,
Because you've got 2 daughters. You're a mother as well, aren't you? 2 daughters.
Yeah, I'm a mother of twin girls. I'm Relaya. They're age 12.
Right.
And like I say, I didn't start until they was around 2 years old. But yeah, all we can do is keep pushing the sport. I train just as hard as the guys. I fight just as hard as them as well. So one day, hopefully, I would love to see, you know, the females and males on the equal.
And obviously having that fan support that you've got, and the family support is really important, isn't it?
Really important.
You really need that, especially doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be where I was today. No. I mean, another thing as well, my coach is my husband, so we do live and breathe the sport, and I'm lucky when I go away and compete. You know, not only have I got my coach there, but I got my husband as well. So you're both into the same sport. Yes. So you know, with it being involved in, you know, what you class as a spiritual sport as well. I mean, you must have a lot of common things, you know, things in common with that spirituality as well. Yeah, I mean, he can totally see where I'm coming from when I'm about to go for a bout. Yeah. A lot of it is preparing mentally, not just physically, and you know, for me, I focus on that quite highly. Right. Okay, so you're one of the main actors as well, one of the actors, shall I say, in the documentary, Spirit to Power. And when is Spirit to Power released?
Well, Julie's one of the guest appearances in the film, but one of the top guest appearances. But they're all full of world champions anyway.
There was a quite special queen of Muay Thai.
Queen of Muay Thai, exactly.
Thai boxing.
Well, it's got a lot of world champions in it anyway, a lot of masters, world champions. It's got Cynthia Rothrock, who is the legendary queen of martial arts, so to speak, from the States, and of course Zara Fithian and lots of other people. And the film is due to be released in early 2012, and it will be an online release, so it'll be download, DVD, streaming, and really I hope it will inspire lots of women to get up there and do, because I do have a particularly strong female cast. Cecily Fay as well. She's, I think, the only swordswoman in the UK who is able to do what she can do, and she's brilliant. And I'm hoping that lots of women will look at it and think, well, it's not, martial arts is not just for guys, it's not just about fighting, there's an art to it, and it will make me stronger as a person. And if you look at someone like Julie, who's completely feminine to look at, but you see her in a ring and she's completely, you know, lethal, it just goes to show that really it's how far you want to take it, but it will help people get very strong in their minds, in their bodies, and especially children. I've got Jack Griffiths, who's young, and he's amazing. He was voted by Sony Pictures as best under 18 martial artist, and he's since been picked up by lots of people. He might be holding the Olympic torch. Oh, wonderful. And he's an inspiration to young people, just like Julie's daughters, you know, taking young people forward into such an ancient thing like martial arts and making it much more contemporary. And making it accessible as well. Exactly. Which is really important, isn't it? And does it support a charity as well? Is there a sort of charity? Well, we'd like to support Médecins Sans Frontières, but we are thinking about other charities as well. And pre the Olympics, I think it's a good time really to get martial arts out there and into people's minds. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. Thank you very much.